and we are parked at Stovepipe Wells. We need to get some gas and a couple treats, and now we're off to Panamint Valley, to the dunes out there. This is the Panamint Valley Road. We're heading out to the Panamint Dunes, which are, I don't know how many miles down this road. We'll clarify that later.
Lake Hill Road.
It's called Lake Hill Road. So at least within the first mile, there are a number of washes that you have to cross, and they are quite gouged out and kind of rocky rolly. They're nothing any vehicle that couldn't get across, but you do need to slow down for them because they're quite sharp. They sort of go off at a fairly steep angle, not very deep, but just deep enough that if you were to hit them quickly, it would be a very unpleasant experience.
There's a military plane flying towards us from the Lake Hill, just crossing our path.
I know the video doesn't do this any justice. This road is pretty rocky rolly, and it takes a little bit of time to go across. If you just take your time, all that you really have to worry about is the rocking and rolling. But you really do need to take this road a little slower than you would maybe typically think of once you just saw it. It is also probably not a good road to be out on if it has rained, because there's a lot of clay and clay sand on the road, which would make this very slick and very difficult to get across without getting really, really muddy. Maybe the last time we were in here was with the Wrangler.
Oh. No, we drove the van there.
Must be the red van.
Yep. But we didn't stay the night. We just wanted to see what was the opportunities here, and we talked to a guy who camped out here for the night.
There's hardly any breeze here. I can just barely see the creosote moving.
Yep. It's a little less than by the main road. Come about a third of the way along.
Yeah, that's what I would guess. It's a up around. It's way over there.
Yep.
I can see it. So as you get near the end of the road, it becomes quite a bit more of a path than an actual road. It is very bouncy and lots of little washes to cross. Still not terribly difficult. Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Sean.
And I'm Corrine.
And where in the devil have you got me today?
Today we are in Death Valley at the Panamint Dunes, and this is quite an aggressive choice for us today.
It is. Actually, we're not actually at the Panamint Dunes yet. We have another 2 miles in that direction to go.
And
we've just walked about 2 miles to get to here. So it is an aggressive hike. And according to my watch here, we have gone up an elevation gain of about 220 feet in 2 miles, which is not terrible, but it looks like a lot when you're standing here.
Yeah, we have a lot more elevation to do once we get to the dunes in about 1.5 miles. The last half mile may be quite a bit steeper and in looser sand.
Yes.
We've been walking on pretty hard packed dirt desert so far. It's starting to get a little bit more loose. So the first 2 miles was pretty easy walking.
Yeah. And we'll have some more to say about the road to get in here. It's a bit more aggressive than
your typical road, but I'll say more about that in a few minutes here.
Now, in terms of being prepared, we have water. We have a satellite communication if something should happen to us. And we are tracking our route so that we can find our route back out easily.
And not to mention that we have a full medical kit, including broken leg support and that as well. And we also carry a Garmin InReach.
I already said that.
You did say that? Well, that's my SOS. If the old man just can't make it out, it's pressing that button. So I pay for that privilege. But actually, all things said, this is a very straightforward walk. It's going to be a little bit more interesting when we walk out tonight after the sun goes down. Speaking of which, we left a little bit late, so we need to get going up the hill here.
Yeah, we didn't anticipate when we started out that there are mountains to our west, and so the sunset is going to be a little earlier than what most of the apps tell us. So we're going to get hustling our butts.
Yep, and we'll talk to you again soon. And let's go in the other direction.
So we've done 2.5 miles. The last half mile was a lot more sandy, and you had to watch for little animal holes that you didn't sink into the dirt. We're at the lower edge of the dunes now, and it's uphill from here. We'll probably climb for another half mile to get to some good photography sites. We're going to be following other people's tracks so we don't make tracks in fresh sand, because we always like to get our pictures with some place that's not covered in footprints. So at least if we cover other people's tracks going up, we won't be creating footprints in the new pristine areas.
Well, we've reached the edge of the dunes in almost exactly 2.5 miles. And it is absolutely beautiful out there. Gorgeous evening.
Well, we got here about 10 minutes ago onto the dunes, and we have maybe 10 minutes of sunlight left, so 20 minutes. It's actually about 30 minutes before the actual sunset, but we have really big hills over there in the west. And so we have to work with that as we're doing our photos, and then we'll probably stick around, see if we get something good slightly afterwards. There's a nice moon up behind where Sean is over there. I'll show you what I'm taking a picture of. This is the dune I've been working on. These dunes are really nice, not as many footprints as the Mesquite Sand Dunes and also the Eureka Sand Dunes. It takes a lot more effort to get out here, and so we're rewarded for our effort because there's fewer people here. This area has some really nice texture from the wind, making ripples on the dune, and then I'm focusing up along this ridge line that shows shadow on the right and sunlight on the left, and then it goes up to a little taller dune back there with a big semicircle hollow that's in shadow. So I'm using the play of shadows and light in my picture. Well, as soon as that sun went behind the hill, it got cool. I hiked out in a short sleeve t-shirt here, and then I grabbed my sweater as soon as we stopped and started doing photos. And now I'm considering putting on a jacket. So it cools off quick, and it hasn't gotten dark yet, and the sun sets probably in 10 minutes or so. So it's something where you have to consider bringing all your layers.
So Karina and I left the parking lot about half an hour or so earlier than we thought we'd need to. And it was a good thing we did, because by the time we got all the way up here to these beautiful sand dunes, it was go time, and at least for golden hour. And we had about 20 minutes of really good light on these absolutely gorgeous dunes. So now what we're waiting for is we get about a half full moon, maybe a little less than that, which is going to light up the dunes beautifully to do some star photos. So we're going to wait for that. We also, it's not actually sunset yet. That's not for another 13 or 14 minutes. So we may get a little bit of golden light in the background there that we can use to shoot the dunes. So we may get another crack at it here in a few minutes. We've kind of strategically placed ourselves on a mound here in the middle of the dunes so that we have shots going east, west, north, and south. The only one that's not so good is the one that's actually going south because it's got our footprints on it. But even then, we can sometimes work with that when it's, if you set up the shot the right way, it can even be pretty nice. So we're just going to hang out for a little while and wait until the light gets a little better, and then we'll talk to you a little bit more.
A whole lot of sunset color tonight. There's just no clouds except a very small band behind the mountains. Sean took a few photos that he'll maybe develop and see if they can look interesting. But in the meantime, it's starting to get a little bit darker. We've got some glow here still. And I found that with the echo of the sunset in the west, it's given a nice little definition to this line of sand that's going up this dune. And the S-curve of this line is really terrific for a photo subject. There's also a really nice curve saddle going up to the next dune. And we're going to hang out here for a little while. Sean's set up down there. And we're going to see if we get some moon glow. The moon's quite high tonight, and it might give us some interesting colors on the dunes out in the distance and here where we're working. So we're going to try capturing some of that.
Well, Karina and I are sitting out here in the dark, waiting for the stars to come out. Karina's getting her camera set up back there. We should have some nice moon glow on the top of the dunes. One of the things that we always tell our students, and that is to bring extra clothes when you come out into the dunes, even if it's a warm day when you hike out. Because right now it is about 40 degrees and it feels very cold.
good morning. It was a cold night last night. It was in the 30s. Even with our little heater running, it got a little on the cool side. We're just getting up and making breakfast. It should be a lovely day. The sun is up, clear blue sky. Should be an absolutely gorgeous day this morning. Good morning. Well, as you can see, it's another day, and we are standing out here at the end of the road that takes you into Panamint Dunes.
We finished up our photography quite late last night. We stayed around and photographed the moon glowing over the dunes. So what did you think?
And it was a really nice evening. Got some really different photographs because the sun or the moon was quite bright, so the stars weren't coming out for us quite the way we wanted them to. But there was kind of really interesting, patchy, streaky clouds that created, I think, some fairly interesting images. Certainly images we've not taken before. So that was a lot of fun. So what else did you think?
The hike out was long.
Yeah, that was brutal. Actually, the hike out was fine. It's the hike back that was really difficult.
Hike back to the truck.
Yeah.
Because the going out, you have the anticipation of going up the dunes and doing your photography. And 3.5 miles is pretty easy for us. But after sitting out on the dunes and getting a little cold, and then packing up at around, what, 6 o'clock or so?
6 o'clock, which is actually full dark.
Very dark. And then we had a, how much? Hour and a half hike?
Oh, no, almost 2.5 hours.
2 hours back to the truck, 3.5 miles, and no lights to guide you, so you're just working from your track on GPS.
But Corrine did a great job guiding us back, because we did lose the footsteps pretty often, because the terrain out there ranges from really soft sand to really hard kind of almost a mud concrete. So when you get to the mud concrete, you can't find the footprints anymore. So we pretty much had to rely on the track. And Corrine did a great job at getting us back last night.
It was a really good trip. I wouldn't rush to do it frequently, only because of how much energy it takes.
Yeah.
But the dunes were beautiful because they didn't have all the footsteps that you get at Mesquite Dunes.
And the other issue is, of course, the road going out for that 6, 7, 8 miles is pretty rough. It can be done in a two-wheel vehicle. You do need a little bit of clearance, especially the first 4 or 5 miles. I mean, the last 3 are rocky, but they're pretty straightforward. You'd have no problem in a sedan in those. But, you know, if you have a pickup truck or, you know, a slightly, van or a lifted SUV, you won't have any problems getting out here. That is the way it is right now, which is middle of December 2024. I think this road could change really dramatically in a rainstorm.
Yes.
So if it had been raining, it would be a very different road. So I think it's time to bring this video to an end. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and we appreciate it very much.
And as always, we love to hear from you. And any comments, thoughts, ideas, if you've been out here, please let us know what you think. We love getting those comments.
If you want to know when we release a video, hit that notification bell down below.
And until next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.